Wait, I should do Hana Dol Sit.
That's
Hello
so cool.
everyone. Happy Pride. It's June 8th, 2026. It's noon here in the East Coast. Hey, from Massachusetts to Pennsylvania, it's Listening with Leah. I'm your friend Chris Kennard. Hi, Leah. Good afternoon.
Hi, Chris. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Shout out to all my gays and theys. We love you so much, sincerely, wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
Leah, you also, you're in a loving, committed relationship, but you also love 8 other boys. What do you want to tell us about Stray Kids?
I would, if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be into K-pop, I'd have been like, what? Well, actually, you know what? I don't think I would have been as shocked. To be honest with you, I've always been like open to pretty much just like you, all different types of music. So, but I would have never anticipated calling myself like a K-pop like fan. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I got into it really late in the game. Like,
Do
I
you
feel
remember the
like
year you said so you started in 2016?
actually it was a little bit late. Well, so here's the thing. My very first introduction to K-pop was actually like G-Dragon. Like when I worked at Walmart back in like 2013, I had a friend that made me a mix CD of like all different K-pop artists, and I thought it was really cool, but I didn't like look further into that. You know what I mean? Like I just enjoyed it for
Sure.
what it was and was like, cool, this is cool, okay. And then, just like everyone else experienced like the really mainstream stuff like Gangnam Style. You know what I mean? Like I was like into that, but I got into Stray Kids at 2020 because I was shut in and I had nothing but time to just go down the rabbit hole of music videos, and I saw the music video for God's Menu, which was the big one that popped up for them. And I was like, this is fire. I immediately added, I think it was like my most played song, but what's so funny is that I didn't like look any further into it until a couple months later when I had another friend be like, hey, have you heard of this band? I was like, oh yeah, they're really good. And then they showed me another song, and then it was lights out. I was totally hooked by that point.
You find me at a very interesting point in like my music journey in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that K-pop was introduced to me my senior year of high school. A good friend of mine, he was from Nepal, and he had one
Mm-hmm.
of like those phones that could play music. I think it was the Juke, and
Oh
it
my
could look like a
gosh, yes.
switchblade. And so he comes up to me and my homie, and he's playing G by Girls' Generation.
Oh
And I'm
man,
like,
yeah.
huh, what's going on here? And I'm like, this sounds kind of good though. And I had like
Yeah.
a computer class that next period, and I got to listen
Mhm.
to any music that I wanted to. And so I
Mhm.
put G on and I listened to it 10 times in a row. And so
Did
I'm
you
like, well,
really?
I just found a brand new hyperfixation. This is going to become my whole personality. And it remained that way, I want to say, until at least 2018. And then I think it's
Mhm.
when it started to peter off for me. You know,
Mhm.
I'm in like the latter half of my 20s, and most of like the idols born around 1992, this is usually like around the time you're 30, unless you're like really like an important part of like the genre. They run out of things to do for you, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm getting older and the idols are getting younger. Maybe it's my time to
Mhm.
kind of back off per se. And
Right,
around
right.
around the time I like started, I think around the time of the lockdown, I determined there needs to be a rule where if I hear like say a girl group song, and
Right.
like if the song can't be support, if I can't enjoy the song without the video, it's not for me, respectfully, because like
Right.
who exactly is like what I'm like if a girl group is being promoted, who are they being like thrust upon, for lack of a better
Right.
term? You know what I'm saying? Like who's the audience for this? And
Right.
so like I and I was primarily interested in like the girl group based tracks. So when it comes to like the boy bands, I'm very cynical about them. You know, like occasionally I'll hear a song like Get a Guitar. I think by Rise is their name. And I heard it on my
Mhm.
birthday last year. And I'm like, this is the kind of K-pop that I enjoy, you know,
Mhm.
low stakes, like not like performative in a kind of like what's the word? Insensitive way, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the shorthand for K-pop is just like, oh, just parrot like a painful parody of blackness. Seems to like, you
Yeah.
know, like be like the stain that cannot be removed from this like the impact of Western
Absolutely.
listeners. And so when you come to me like, oh, this is like the one group that I like, and I'm like, why have I never like given them a chance? You know, they're on
Mm-hmm.
JYP, one of like the big companies out there, and
Mm-hmm.
like I was like a GOT7 head like twice. Like it's like arguably the most significant girl group in the genre at this very moment, who like
Right.
inherited the crown from
Absolutely.
Girls' Generation and 2NE1 and things of that nature. I don't I think the whole Blackpink of it all is a whole other conversation because what they do is explicitly so different than Twice, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
only one of those groups is a cosign for Megan Thee Stallion. So
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. I just want to make sure I
Yeah.
pointed that out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
Real.
so I took a look at these comebacks, you know, music videos for people not in like the industry, like the community, and I realized, okay, so like God's Menu 2020, Thunderous is 2021, I believe. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we have Maniac 2022, and Chick Chick
Yep.
Boom comes out in 2024.
Yes.
And when you mentioned the songs to me, I had heard God's Menu and Chick Chick Boom before. I had forgotten that I
Mm-hmm.
had. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was fun just like getting back into like the swing of things, like actually like just like pouring every detail of the video. And
Mm.
gotta say, like editing in like K-pop boy band videos has come like centuries ahead. Long gone
Yeah.
are the days of 12 dudes in suits in one like ominously lit room, you know? Now it's like, no, we're going outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
there are
Right.
props and
Yeah.
things of that nature. And I remember because I used to be a Super Junior head. And one thing that kind of bugged me about Super Junior songs is that the videos would have a portion of the song that wasn't like in the actual track you would buy or stream. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna like go out of the way to give me the dance break, keep
Mm-hmm.
it in the song, please. That was
Right.
like a big like no, because that's what made so K-pop compelling for me. Because in America, as far as I'm concerned personally, young men aren't encouraged to like pursue dance as like a significant like extracurricular in their lives. You know, it's like either you play sport or you get on the computer. Dance? What are you, gay? And it's
Right.
like,
Right.
well, that's none of your business. But
But
like,
but there's this inherent feminization for some reason of dance in American culture that is just so stupid. Like yeah, there is no gender to it, you know. If you're good at
my
it, you're good at it.
yeah, and if you enjoy it, like if you enjoy it, amazing. You know, like my mom. It's her birthday, by the way. Hi, mom. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy
Everyone leave a
birthday.
everyone leave a happy 65th in the comments if you're listening. Appreciate y'all. For years, because you know she studied dance as her undergrad when she went to College Park, and so
Oh,
she taught
okay.
for a while. And she's like, "Do you want to come take a class? Do you want to go to
Mm-hmm.
work with me? Do you want to take a class?" And I'm like, "No, mom. Boys don't dance until like eighth
Oh,
grade, and I was required to be
yeah.
in a school play." And I'm like, "Wait, this is fun. Yo, can I take a class?" And she's like, "Babes, I retired. You missed your chance."
Oh, 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 that hurts my
So who
heart.
knows? Could have been an idol. Who knows?
You could have been an idol.
You never know
Right.
these days. That's all.
Gosh,
That's all I wanted to say about that.
when you had approached me about talking about Stray Kids, I realized that I was like, this is going to be a little bit difficult given the fact that like we could really narrow down the conversation just to Stray Kids and their work. But there is a larger conversation to be had about K-pop as a whole, how, you know, how it's kind of becoming even more mainstream now in North America, and the pros and the cons of it, and you know how now Cat's Eye is becoming a thing. They're trying to kind of push this girl group into America, how
The
that's kind of
international girl group,
working,
yeah.
right, working, not working, you know, kind of deal. And so I was like, man, this is gonna be hard to kind of condense into like, you know, 40 minutes. And like you said, and also the problems that come along with it, you know what I mean? Like absolutely, you know, some serious like racist issues that still they struggle with, today, and also the over sexualization sometimes of members and stuff. So believe me, I realize that this is like we are only
peak of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg,
scratching the surface. Yeah,
100%. And like it helps when again like look to the cats who kind of like come out on the other side. You know what I mean? Your Amber Lou's, your Jackson Wang, your Eric Noms.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend necessarily like your Jay Parks, because I feel like cats like that are maybe part of the problem in my personal opinion. And a good fair chunk of like Korean musicians that I like are on AOMG, his label. But like I feel like there could be a more like conscious conversation between like purveyors of Black music and like people who like kind of like like are kind of like carrying like the cross for it. It's like, oh, like because I love Black music, I want to support it in this specific way, even if I'm not Black and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like there is all like this discourse around like Arirang by BTS, and
I was just about to ask how you felt about Hooligan.
So I'm gonna be the first to say it, because there is an army in my life who I love with all of my heart, and I hope you might be listening. Yes. It's like I was disappointed by Arirang, and so I hear it. I listen to it at work, and I'm like, why don't I like this? Because in 2015, when I heard Dope for the first time, I'm like, this is going to change everything. Because I was already like I was already like an EXO head, like since like Mama and things of that nature. Yeah. But I hear Dope, and I'm like, who the heck are these dorks? And they become the most important boy band in the whole genre. They take like their time off because of like their designated like military thingamablobber. And when they come back, they put this record out, and I'm like, this is mid. And I know like that's such like a it's such an easy like out for like things that I'm kind of middle of the road about. But I'm like, something isn't right here. This isn't like the boy band that I knew and grew and loved. And I've said for years, BTS making music to appeal to their Western audience killed everything I like about them. I like K-pop because it's people from Korea making pop music, son. You know what I'm saying? Sure, maybe some songwriters from America who are Black go there to like get their, do what they do. Cool, great. But is it being written for Korean audiences by Korean people? That's what I'm more concerned about. That's what I like. If I wanted to listen to American pop, I would. And you'd think with all like the success of boy bands in South Korea, in Japan, in China, like labels would consider like making their own like One Direction or Why Don't We or CN or one like Spanish boy band I don't know the name of right at this moment. But like y'all didn't do that because like that's not what you want necessarily. You know what I'm saying? And we know it's about you. You're saying like the quiet part out loud by not doing the thing that like you could be doing. But like I hear the record and I go to my boy Anthony Fantano from the Needle Drop. He hits into his review. I go to the comments. Army's all up in there and they're being so polite. They're like, oh, he didn't like it? Not a big deal, dog. But I also read there are so many co-writers in the room for Arirang. And my whole thing is like, if you have 8 dudes in a room, save for like the producer or like the guys providing the beats, why do I need co-writers? I have 8 singers in here. You mean to tell me none of y'all can write? Get out of here. I don't believe that. And Stray Kids is a great example of this because yes, they're on JYP, one of the top 3 labels in the genre. Everything's in house.
I love vocal production, about them.
The beats, the dancing. They're like, oh, let's do it ourselves. There are 8 of us here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it could be that way. We're like, hey, we gave you all the platform. People have access to you. What do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I noticed, I saw they're one of the headliners for the Governor's Ball, like, 2 days ago in New York? And so one of the fans, like, shot the whole thing on her phone. And I'm like, wow, look at the production. We got pyro. We have costume changes. We have, like, the live band, like, sectioned off in the corner. You know what I mean? And, like, and all these kids know like the fan chants. They know all the lyrics. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is Beanie Mania. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm happy.
That's my favorite part. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
You're so good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's my favorite part of K-pop. was when I discovered the community about it. That's the best part, is when you're really, really into it with your friend and you're like, oh my gosh, the comeback is coming, and you're like waiting for it and stuff. Like, that to me was the best part, was being into it with other people and like learning the fan chants. And that's something that I wish that other genres of music, and to a degree they do have, but like K-pop has it locked down. They're like, oh, you pick your favorite member, or like, you know, you have your favorite, yeah, right. And I just think that that's so cool. K-pop's fun to be into alone, I guess, but it's so much better when it's like you've got a group of people that who are also just as excited about it as you are, you know, which I guess you
I
can
think
say
it's
with any song, but yeah.
I think it's probably what killed it for me is because I was always alone, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No one in like
Yeah.
my tangible, no one in like my day to day life was like
Yeah.
as entrenched in as I was. Because like when I
Yeah.
get into a thing, I kind of go deep,
You
and
know.
I've never like been to I've never been to a show. Like I never actually like gone to a fan meeting or anything of that nature. And
Oh,
again, because like it's like yo, I'm gonna be 34 like in a month, and so it's like I would love to like talk to like idols who are no longer in the system. If like
yeah.
if it's not like a bad like part of their lives that they don't remember, they don't that they either
Right.
regret or like don't like look upon fondly any longer, and things of
Right.
that nature. You know, it's like
Yeah.
because I hear some of these songs, and I'll be straight up. Everything is kind of floating at a 6 out of 10 for me, if I'm
Okay.
being completely honest. And it's
Yeah.
like, and I feel like, here's the thing about Stray Kids for me. I heard their first comeback, Elevator, and I'm like, this isn't for me, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
why is it not for me? And
Okay.
maybe it's because Stray Kids was the result of like a variety show,
Yes.
and that shouldn't be an issue, but
Yeah.
somehow it is, you know. Like I think maybe I prefer the method of like you sign up for a company, they mold you, and you debut,
Mhm.
you know, because I know,
Yeah.
okay, boom, away from the cameras, you are being taught to dance, sing, speak another language, I don't know, like work for camera, who knows, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we see you when we think we're ready, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that like the shorty from the lead voiceover actress for K-pop Demon Hunters,
EJ.
yeah, knowing that EJ was in SM Entertainment for a decade and never
I
debuted,
know.
like
I
killed
know.
me, you know,
I
because
know.
I imagine that's like a good chunk of people in that realm.
Oh yeah.
There was one soloist I follow. Um, Her name is Minoi,
Mm-hmm.
Meennoi, and she's
Mm-hmm.
on AOMG, and like she had like this show where like she cooked for her peers in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and it was her and two other girls, another soloist, Lee High, and this other shorty, uh, Sihan Lee. She was in AMKMU. She's an AKMU acting musician, a duo with her brother on YG,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like eating and they're talking about, oh, when's your debut? When's your debut? Because they're all around the same age, but their debut was also like kind of like spaced out based on just
Mm-hmm.
like their priority in the company at that specific time. With Lehigh and like Suhyun both being on YG, and now they're neither of them are. Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
Suhyun and her brother like started their own label. Lehigh went to AOMG with Minoi, and it's just like, very,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Well, Bangtan, you know, had been in. He had initially joined the company in when he was 14, and
Oh my
ended up.
god.
Yeah, and he had been waiting for 7 years. And actually, with Stray Kids, he ended up being able to pick the members that were a part of
Mm,
that variety show. So Han was like his first one, because Han's kind of known as like an ace. Like he's known as being like he's
he
good
can
at
do everything.
everything. Yeah, he's my bias wrecker. Well,
Ew.
the more I learned about him, I was like, this dude is so cool. He's so talented. Um, but I think that that's why I did like the beginning of Stray Kids, was because I liked the fact that it was kind of like, okay, well, here's your chance. You make a group. if you think you're, you know what I mean, you're good at it. And he did, and it worked. It was lightning in a bottle. Even the two that they ended up getting rid of, they were like, oh, you Felix, because they were like, you can't speak Korean, which is
That's
funny.
right. He's an international idol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he would later become like the most popular member, the most like face of it, and
Deep
then
voice boy.
Deep voice boy. Yeah, exactly. But it's the first thing that everyone immediately, when they encounter Stray Kids, is like, well, who's the blonde one with the deep voice? Every single time. And then Lino, who was like their best dancer, you know. So they ended up coming back, and they, you know, were able to form and everything. But I wanted to touch on something. This is kind of like a little bit, if you don't mind. But
Please.
so when you were talking about Ariadan and walk with me, so with Hooligan specifically, I had this feeling the same as you, where I was like, why don't I like this? And I realized it was the lack of authenticity. It was saying terms like slime and like things that
What
I
you
was
need,
like,
twin?
right. And I was like, I know that this is not a part of your vernacular. This is not a part of your day to day. You do not talk like this. You haven't
You're
ever
not
talked like
Pyru.
this. Right. You are trying to appeal to, you know what I mean, to a demographic. And I don't like that at all. It's very see-through and it doesn't feel authentic. Meanwhile, I wanted to kind of point out Thunderous with Stray Kids. To me, really locked me in with Stray Kids was because I loved that they embraced a very traditional kind of Korean sound. And there was a little bit of folklore in the very beginning where they mention they it was something about like trolls or something, and it was cool. And the more I would learn about the song, the more I was like, oh, this is like specifically authentically Korean. There is no, you know, second guessing it. Now, I was just kind of curious your thoughts when it came to that. Do you think that that maybe had something to do with why? Because I know that it's still a 6 out of 10 for you when it comes to Thunderous, which is totally fine. But do you think that maybe it's the authenticity that either turns you on or off to a certain song?
The only like thing that I know about like Korean music is like trot, TROT,
Mm-hmm.
that specific
Yeah.
genre, and I love to learn more about that because that just sounds so like whimsical.
Yes.
I did like the video for Thunderous, for that matter.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, I think I liked. I'm not. I think I like Thunderous the least, and I
Oh
think
wow.
my only issue with it is that like it falls into the bucket of like because there was a period of time of where like the mainstream acts in Korean pop were doing like the songs with just like instrumental choruses,
Mm-hmm.
and but like I feel as though it like Thunderous also does the thing that like K-pop is like kind of like known for, are just like the millennial whoop onomatopoeia. You know what I'm talking about?
I could kind of infer from just that alone. I'm immediately thinking of Lumineers, oh hey, and like Millennial Hope Corps.
Well, like I feel like for us in America, the most
Yeah.
like glaring example is like "Good Time" by Owl City and Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
But I
okay.
feel like the best one in like K-pop for me is "I Am the Best" by 2NE1 with boom ta 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 ta. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so Thunderous kind of falls into that bucket for me, and I'm like, this is a trap because I feel like it's too much of an easy out. No, like I feel like
Yeah.
if a group knows they can do this, they'll keep on doing it. Because I know
Mhm.
BTS did it like at least twice with DNA, and they also did it with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. But like
Mhm.
those still like are fond songs, even like with Fire.
Mhm.
But like
I love
those
Fire.
like have a lot of just like they built a lot of just goodwill in me. And so it's like I definitely feel like an old head now because like here we have Stray Kids who are more or less picked up the torch from GOT7, you know, because
Right.
like
Yeah.
at a certain point, unfortunately, GOT7, their music became kind of stale. And I think it's really difficult to find something to do when you're a pop artist and you're a grown person. Like, how do we like appropriately market you to the fans who have always loved you? They kind of figured it out with Super Junior, but I feel like since Super Junior was one of like those first really huge acts to like evolve, like I feel as though like the blurring of lines of these are just like hot dudes in a band versus like these are all like 12 guys, like men in a pop band that like who's like I guess like real life doesn't like reflect the music that they make, you know, like and even like and I do think that like once like you form a group like that in a K-pop genre, don't add new members respectfully. You know what I mean? Unless like you feel like, oh, like it's one thing where it's like, you know, okay, like say like a CLC. They can I think they add at least 2 new girls to the group as like it was as they're starting to like bubble up.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like say like it's year 10 and you're like, what do we do? Like people are starting to not care. Don't add a new guy. Why are you putting him in that position? Unless like say like, you know, like say take like XO. There are 12 I think they're like at one point like 16 boys and like half of them were from China and like half of them were from Korea. And that worked a little bit for a while, but then it's like, oh, like racism again, like rears its ugly head. And like, sure, you can like splinter them off into like small groups like EXO CBX and things like EXO. I'm pretty sure there's another one that I can't really think of, but it's either here or there. It's just like, yeah, like you pick up one stone and then 30 other stones get like uncovered when like you do things like this. But there is like there's a portion that all the fans will pick up on when like you have a song like Thunderous, but if it felt like Old Hat, I think is what like the thing about Thunderous was for me. But like again, that was a really great video, and like it's I just like trying to learn more about them. I go on Wikipedia and I noticed that one of the boys wasn't at like Governor's Ball. And I'm like, oh, why wasn't he there? And that's none of my business. I couldn't find it right away. So it's clearly not none of my business. But I'm like, well, who is he? Who didn't get to show up? And I read that I think it was Sungmin didn't get to come. And just looking down his Wikipedia page, I saw he put up like millions of dollars into charity. And I'm like, oh, these guys are huge. Like, it's not so much like people listening to the songs, they have millions of streams and such. Like, the financial impact of a Stray Kids is like changing the world. You know, because again, I would be so surprised to like know the Elevator guys are headlining the Governor's Ball. What?
Right. It's absolutely insane. So he had a fractured ankle apparently, and that's why he couldn't do it. But it is kind of wild to think, and obviously I don't know the breakdown when it comes to like the money, you know, aspect of it, but you've got a group that we're talking about that has like 39, I think, million followers on Instagram, and
Huge.
one member alone has like 33 million of those. Like it's I can't even like fathom it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think that for me, the reason that Stray Kids kind of had stuck out to me was that idea that Three Racha was the ones that were creating the stuff. I loved the fact that Bang Chan, Changbin, and Han are really the geniuses behind it. And that even if I don't like everything they've done, which I don't, I'm not one of those people that'll just be like, no matter what they do, they're perfect. Like, I've just never been that type of person. But I love when they show the behind the scenes, and it's always one of them that's behind the booth, as well as some other people. But I like that they try to explain their process and their thought process, and you can tell especially that they're always working on something. And I like that. And I don't know if every group, and maybe you can like tell me about this, because I actually, again, surprising no one, you're an expert in this as well.
No. I'm morbidly curious is what I like to say, because like I don't have like a background, but I'm like, because I know that I like it, I want to know how the sausage is made. You know what I mean? So that when I know that when someone is like trying to like dip their toe in, it like works or not. Like when
Right.
Rap Monster Namjoon from BTS made a song with Wale, I'm like, this should be a knockout for both of these dudes. And it
Yeah.
didn't really like it didn't have like an impact beyond like the army of it all. And I'm like, why
Yeah.
doesn't this song get radio play in the States? At least in like say like Washington, DC, where Wale is from. And
Right.
like
Right.
it goes nowhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like and
Yeah.
now like it's like how strange is that like BTS puts out like their arguably worst record ever, and
Yeah.
Wale in like his own right as like a hip hop star is nowhere to be found in the mainstream. You know,
Yeah.
it's like who can predict these
Wild.
kind of things?
I
And like it's
know.
great that they do that, but like it should be a bigger deal when like these genres explicitly cross streams. You know,
Absolutely.
like Cardi B like doing a song with like Blackpink should be a bigger deal than it is. Somehow it's not. Selena Gomez doing a song with Blackpink should be a big deal. Here's the thing: the song is bad. That's why it doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, exactly. But what I loved about Stray Kids is that they've got the 3 rappers, they've got 2 vocalists, and they've got 3 dancers. And the thing is that of course they're all like, you know, well versed in doing all of it, but that is kind of how they it's 3 Racha, dance Racha, vocal Racha. And I like that. I like the idea that they've got their own like specific like
Everyone
this
gets a
is
job.
my expertise. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know that I don't know if that's the case with all groups that they do that where it's like, okay,
No, I
well,
don't
these
think
are
so.
our yeah, I haven't noticed that either, where it's like, okay, well, who's the main rapper? Who's the main singer? You know, and usually there's no answer to that. So you weren't wild about, you know, most of them, but so Thunderous was the weakest to you, but of God's Menu, Thunderous, Chick Chick Boom, and Maniac, which stuck out to you, if any, did?
I think Chick Chick Boom has the best production. No question
Okay.
about it. I think that's the
Yeah.
best beat in the batch. God's Menu to me, like that feels like a direct, like just like, oh, this is one of like the sons that got sired by Dope by BTS. Like a God's Menu can't be made without Dope by BTS. It's like it's
Yes.
1-to-1 to me, and like I feel like it's a great way. Like if since like that was kind of like your like launch pad for the group, I think it could also be a great launch pad for the group in the sense that just like you can expect this kind of level of like ferocity if that's what you're interested in, like from your like your boy bands and such. I think because I took the most time with Maniac because I wrote my notes down like late last night. I made sure I listened to everything at least twice, and so when I listened to Maniac my second time, the only note that I wrote was like drill sound make brain go burr.
I know exactly what you're talking about. See, but I like my brain going burr.
You know, like it. You know, like pop music should be fun. It should do like it should make like the chemicals in your brain kind of bubble, like fried, like you know, like chicken grease.
Yeah.
And so again, like
God, that's such a great line. Yeah. Wow.
It's Stray Kids has a secret weapon, and that secret weapon is Felix. You know, and like Felix feels like Felix reminds me of like T.O.P. from Big Bang. Just like you know, I imagine some of the men are like, dang, I wish I could like I wish I was a tenor. I wish I was a baritone. There's nothing wrong with being a bass. We'll find you something to do. Like in rock and pop, in like progressive metal, it's like, oh, this guy can play a wicked solo. Yeah, but the key is in C, and the bass guitar decides that. Like, until I say otherwise, we are in C. So like, act accordingly. And so like, it's like they're getting tired up there. Felix, show them your abs. Okay.
Well, and I do feel like they absolutely use him because when God's Menu really changed, and they'll say it in interviews too.
Looking like a chef, like a 5-star Michelin.
Exactly. That line alone, I remember on TikTok, everyone was like, who is this? And what is going on? Because it would even be reaction videos of people watching it and being like, now listen to this guy looking like, and they're like, oh my God, you know, and that changed the trajectory. So they absolutely use him like kind of like a sprinkling, like you said, a secret weapon is a great way to put it, where they're kind of like, Salt Bay, where they're kind of like, okay, well here, you know, just say an iconic line, because he's not the strongest singer, but they're like, just say something.
Say anything, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. And I like also, God, that imagery you just used, a pop should make your brain go burr. And you said it should feel like make it pop
like popping chicken grease. You know, like you're about to like make some eggs, and it's like you have like the veggie oil or the canola oil as it's heating up. It's like it's fizzling, and it's like you want to get the goosies from songs you listen to.
Right. So it's like sometimes I think people are surprised because often I listen to a lot of like I feel like lyrically heavier stuff, or like, you know, more stuff admittedly that has more depth. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, this is kind of funny because then I'm like showing off, like, and this is what I eat for fun. This is my cotton candy. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you that, like, that, you know, I mean, they're doing, you know, fun stuff and everything, but I'm also not going to sit here and say, like, this is the deepest stuff I've ever listened to. It's
Pinnacle.
not.
It's peak. It's peak, guys.
Right. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say this, but I'm gonna say that it makes me happy, and it, you know, it's fun to listen to, and I think that that's like the core of what pop should be. You know,
it's like you got your green tea, you got your water, you got your soju. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yes, exactly.
One for fun, one for energy, and one because I want to get fucked up.
Exactly. And I feel like a healthy musical, you know, palette should have all of them in it, you know?
Maybe just like, you know, like even for like the solar people out there, your sparkling water, your orange juice, and maybe your milk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, maybe not all three together, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this being all said, I think it's safe to say that you would not become a stay.
I'm not a stay, but like I support what you guys are doing, because like everyone seems to be having a great time. And that's what that's what I actually care about. When I saw that like one of the boys is no longer in the group, I'm like, oh gosh, what happened here? What I appreciate about Woojin's situation, it was explained clearly. And like it explains to me, it points out how like gross it can be with fandom culture, where it's like, you know what, fuck this guy in particular, I'm going to ruin his life. And it's like, son, you can just log off. You can even press the dislike button, but you should move on with your day. You should listen to something you actually care about. You know what's going on here? Because
what's going on? What are we doing?
I've seen again with Super Junior, one of the dudes got married, and like the fandom was like, ruin his life, kick him out of the group.
That is definitely something I do not understand when it comes to
son, if I know like I'm singing songs, but hey girl, I love you, and like I'm going home alone, that's gonna mess me up. But then it's like if I'm like, there's actually like a hey girl, I love you specifically, and because I love you specifically, I am so much happier in my job. That would make me so stoked. Do you know how much how much more I love Claudio Sanchez, knowing that like the girl that kind of broke his heart and welcome home became his wife, and they have a child together, and they basically hang out all the time, and that she's in all the comments on Instagram talking about how much she loves Claudio. That makes me so stoked. I think because you know they're from New York, and there's lots of like influencers in New York, and someone stopped them like, excuse me, are you guys a couple? And it was Claudio Sanchez and his wife, and he's so shy, and so she's doing all the talking, and she's like, do you have anything to add? He's like, no, not at all. He's just like, I just love my wife. And I'm like, I love a wife guy. You know what I mean? Like, how else would you be inspired to write all these riffs?
It's the parasocial relationship that's definitely the double-edged sword that K-pop uses to its advantage sometimes, where it's like, okay, because I'm talking to you, girl, specifically, like, you know, with your eyes and your hair of any color, you know what I mean? Like that, there's absolutely a fair bit of that where they lean into it, and it's 110% for sales. You know, it's to profit. But the idea that people, I can understand when children believe that kind of thing because they're kids. But when you get older, you need to understand that, like, obviously this person does not know you in real life and does not owe you anything. You know what I mean? Even their music, they don't owe you that either. you know? So just respect it for what it is. And like, if you don't like it, like you said, just move on, you know? But like to try to control their lives. And it makes me sad that like this is still very much so a thing. And apparently it's a thing in Korean culture as well, where they just don't, you know, want anybody to know anything about their relationships or their romance, because it breaks the illusion. It's so stupid
I'm
to
not
me,
into that.
you know?
If an
No.
idol wants to keep their private life private, you're already an
Yeah.
idol. So like,
Right.
frankly, I don't want to know. As long as
Right.
like you're getting home safely, you love your job, I'm stoked. But if a company's like you can't date, I'm not rocking with that. Personally, I'm
Yeah.
like, that should never at all be a portion of like your professional life. It's like, especially
Right.
like you're 21 and it's like I get to be an idol. It's like, cool. I'm gonna like fuck off to Guam for like 6 months when that we're not on the road or doing press. And it's like, hey, have a great
Yes.
time in Guam. See you on the road. You know what I mean?
And that's like the worst part. One of the worst parts of the darker parts of K-pop, where it's like, oh, and they, you know, there will be scandals if one of them's drinking or something, and I'm like, but they're adults, like, you know, they,
Hey,
I don't understand. Who
have some
cares, you
vodka
know?
if it helps. If you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, or
you
like
worked hard. Have some
smoking.
top shelf
Yeah,
shit. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
I don't care. Like, so
hey, life is
that's
short. Enjoy yourself.
right.
Before we go, because I know we both have things to do today, I was thinking about how, you know, when we were kids, we learned the story about like Moses and he was like leading his people through the desert and they ran out of food and God like rained manna from the sky. And I'm like, hey, that sounds like God's menu. And so I'm like, if you're God, what are you putting on the menu for your people to eat when there's nothing to eat? What's going to rain down from the sky if like Goddess Leah is like bestowing a blessing on her people?
Oh, okay. And it's got to, and I can only pick one thing. Well, do you have an answer?
To be honest with you, no, I don't. I never thought about it. I didn't know. I'm like, dang, that's kind of like, it is kind of a hard question. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I don't want it to be anything too heavy. Because like, what if it, you know, rains down from the sky and I'm like, bonks you on the head? That's no good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want something to spoil in the desert heat. But like, I guess like if it's like coming down on like a cute little like you know how like the stork would bring babies to parents. It's like, oh, it's coming down in a cute little basket. I don't know. Maybe it's like a Chipotle burrito.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I feel like that hits all the different levels, like nutritionally speaking, you know.
It's like, manna, what is it? Rice.
I know, but then I was like, they have nothing to cook. I immediately, okay, so I went through all the different options. I was like, rice, they got nothing to cook. I was like, pork rinds, that's not good for them. They can't have that. And what if some of them can't eat pork? I was like, this is a terrible idea. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm really screwing this up. This is my first day on the job.
It's like, this is why I have angels. Let the angels deal with it. I don't care. Whatever you say, bro. Like,
yeah, I know. It was like Monster Energy because that's what I like. But God, that's gonna be
cold, but they're gonna
awful.
like
Yeah.
my heart rate.
Yeah, I think the burrito's a safe choice because you got a bunch of different things going
You know
on
what
in
I'm
there.
saying? Oh, I can't eat rice. Well, here's some avocado. There you go. Get
Right.
your like getting like your fatty acids and such.
Yes,
We'll have to have a
exactly.
God conference. And we'll figure that out together. It's been a blast hanging out with you this afternoon.
You too.
I put the site for Laser 99 in the description. I got some new music in there too, yo. I'm thinking we're gonna like reconvene in a month, like in a season or so. You know, like knock on wood. I think we should do like we've done our Korean pop. We gotta do some J Rock. I'm just gonna let you know right now, we gotta do some J Rock. And so I'm formulating ideas. Give me like, I think early August, I'm gonna know what songs we can do, so you can like just like have them around for a month or so. If you
I've
feeling
already
them or
got
not,
some
and we can
stuff.
we'll do like 3 J
circulating.
Rock songs, and then whatever
Yeah.
like is like doing well at the station this winter, I think would be like a cool thing to do.
Okay.
Again, like support local radio, terrestrial radio. We need you. Call, tweet, whatever you got to send a letter. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a nice gift basket. You never know. Send some labels. Send some posters. Some promotional,
Right.
some promotional vinyl to hang up on the walls, bro.
Right.
Look at that. We both got bare walls. Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? It's Pride. I have some mutual aid in there for as well. One of my homies is trying to get back to their home in another country, and it's quite expensive. So if you got it, don't buy Starbucks. Buy a plane ticket. Happy birthday, mom. If you and your mom are cool, call. You know what I'm saying? Text. and listen to some Earth, Wind, and Fire. She loves Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, there's a documentary on there today too about Earth,
So
Wind, and
cool.
Fire. I just saw. Did you already watch it? Yeah.
I need to watch it, actually. It's on my watch
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Leah, please say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
Thank you so much. It's been a blast.